Hey everyone, it's Jan and I am back to finish up this mini album with you, and I hope that it gives you some ideas for your own masculine themed minis.
Growing up, I thought all hunting dogs were named Jill, and I went ahead and finished the story in here. It turns out that they can also be named Jack or Bud, but not much else. For sure, their name has to be one syllable long. Apparently, it is counterproductive in the field to have to get your dog's attention if their name is Clementine. Of course, hunting dogs are not supposed to be pets either, but don't tell Jill that. We had many dogs named Jill, but there's a couple of them that really became true family pets. So on the back here, I did some ribbon, colored the inside of it with some glimmer mist just by painting on the inner part of the ribbon, and then put some stickers on here that says it's a dog's life, and this is a Jenny Bolin stamp from Autumn Leaves that has a dog and says best friend, and it says only your best friend would be as excited as you are. They're willing to go. I see a bird. Do you see a bird? I see a bird. So anyway, that was fun. But here is, right here is Jill, the hunting dog. You'll notice she's on the couch. Clearly my dad is not home at this moment because here's the family pet, the poodle, and here is Jill, the hunting dog. Smart dog. As soon as she would hear Dad's car driving up, she would head to the back door just as fast as she could so that we could let her out. Then this was a dollhouse that we had, and this was a hunting dog. I think this one was probably Bud, and a dollhouse is better than a doghouse every time. And when Bud was a puppy, he would sleep in the dollhouse. So that'll probably remind Dad of the funny things that he had to put up with because he had girls. But again, just able to put a lot of pictures on tags down in here, and this is actually made out of a 6x9 manila envelope, and I'll do a tutorial on how we did that as well. So let me put it back in here. We'll come over here, and one of the things I wanted to document for my dad was all the places that he loved going to hunt. And later, after he retired, he and my uncle, his brother, bought some land up in Oklahoma and put a trailer on it so that they, you get older, you need a little more comfort in your hunting scenario. So they had a trailer that they called the Gobbler's Roost. And then I made this little, and this right in this little box in here that I put it in. If I wouldn't put mini albums inside of mini albums, I wouldn't have had to do that. But this is just a squash book that I've done, and I've got some more journaling to do. But again, I used the Cricut 50 States cartridge and cut out various places that he had been, and I'm putting pictures in here and some journaling about those various places. Okay. Seem to be squash book challenge today. And see, this is one of those things that if I were just creating it to give to somebody where they were going to put their own pictures in it, I probably would never have ended up with something like this. I would have done just a very small little mini or a little, multi-page fold over thing, and there wouldn't have been room for the pictures. And so I don't know about you. It's just always a little bit of a challenge for me to actually work with the pictures and still have kind of the creativity. So I wanted to show you a few of the ways that I did this. This is one of the Tim Holtz, I don't know what it's called, labels. And I did it with grunge board, then put some walnut stain on it after I did a texture fade. Let's see if you can see that. You see the wood grain. Just trying to keep it nice and masculine. You'll notice that I don't have lots of flowery things on here. I used neutral colors. This is an old Prima flower. Put a little stick pin in here. Again, just trying to keep the embellishments really masculine, grunged up. I did the vintage photo distress powder technique on this to make it look like an old rusty lock. So then this is the page dedicated to pheasant, and just went through my stash of old chipboard letters and just kind of did a mixture montage of those various things. This I'm going to show you right here. This is all material, and I used heat and bond and ironed it onto the fabric so that it was nice and stiff. And then I put that on my Cricut mat, and I cut out fairly intricate detail. This is a pheasant from the wildlife cartridge. These are leaves from Stretch Your Imagination. So then this is the page that's dedicated to turkeys, and with this I use some old dictionary paper, and I put down Tim Holt's mask letters, and then used, I believe I used the rusty hinge, the honey, and probably some mahogany on there as well. Just ran over them, and while my letters were still in place, I outlined them just to give it a little accent. And then with this, this tree over here is a Tattered Angels glimmer screen, and I just ran some non-permanent removable adhesive on the back of the glimmer screen, put it down, and then did my distress inks over it. This is another wildlife from the wildlife cartridge. It's sorry, let me get it in frame for you. It's a turkey, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to come up here. You can see I did some detail on the turkey's tail. Just used my Copic markers for that, just to add a little detail. Have a little tag in here. I used the same tree glimmer screen, outlined it, and then used Glimmer Glam and painted in that tag, so he can then made it so he could do some journaling on the back. Honestly, I know I'm going to do the journaling. I don't know what I'm just kind of in theory saying that he's going to do some journaling. This one is for ducks. He has been an avid duck hunter, and I used a couple of, this actually is a piece off of a white doily placemat that I just did some spraying with, I believe Starburst stains is what I used on here. You know how it is when, like, it's been a project that has taken you 3 months to get done, and you look at it and you go, oh, that was really creative. How did I come up with that? I'm not sure that I could actually describe. This was so out of my stash. I have no idea where I came up with those ducks. Just did some stamping and just creating some more little tags for him to, because I know that once he gets this, he's going to have pictures that I didn't have in my stash of things. So here's another one of those. How do you add just a ton of things into a mini album, or, you know, even if it's big? And what I did was I took the pictures and I made a little gatefold here, just so that he could have lots of pictures from when, and you can see I've left some blanks for him and then some journaling back in here. But it's easy peasy if you, okay, I think I did that wrong. Let me see here. No, I didn't do it wrong. Ladies, I am, some days I just think I'm lucky to still have my mind at all. These are some stickers that I, again, used my kind of a tone-on-tone Copic marker to give it some dimension, and some old stickers. And here's my quail. And we're going to turn the page and you'll see this last quail is probably the thing that our family has enjoyed the most. So here's the quail on this side, and you can see again I took the fairly simple cricket image that was cut out with the wildlife cartridge, and then used my Copic markers to add some detail to the quail. This is another quail image down here that's off of the wildlife cartridge. Let me show you that. And again, I layered it. I cut it out with the cricket and then used my Copic markers to color in the detail. I covered one of the Tim Holtz on the edge dies, which is the kind of scary fence, and put that in there so that I could have some places to put some little tags. And what I'm hoping is that we will get the family recipe for fried quail, because it's so good and I'd like to have a record of that, and I'm not sure that I know how to make that. So that's what I'm hoping we will add here. This is just an old metal book plate up here that I sponged some copper on, added a couple of the Tim Holtz spinners or gear element things. And then over here, probably the one that has the most frou-frou girly stuff on here, I'll do a tutorial on how I made this flower. I hadn't gotten the Tim Holtz those medallion flower things, but I was trying to figure out how to make one, and just by using my Martha Stewart scoreboard, I was able to come up with this. So I'll show you. Then did a lot of distressing on that. So I'll do a tutorial on either creating it on your own or using just the scoreboard. And then did some Prima flowers, just painted them either with Starburst stains or with Glimmer Mist, and put some little roses in the middle. And this up here is another one of those Arm & Hammer advertisement cards. Use some corrugated cardboard back here, painted it with Crackle Distress paint, and this is a Tattered Angels glimmer chip. You know, they come from those alphabets that have the timepieces on them. And again, just added just a few pieces of ephemera for, and then the back, I'll show you this down here. I have a one-of-a-kind stamp, and then just some pieces of ephemera, again using the Vintage Photo distress powders for creating this key looking like it's a rusted key, and then just a couple of little wings. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this. I'll show you. I also just used some stamps to kind of create the sense that it was an aged book. You know, not that I'm saying my dad's old at 83, but he has been around, and you know, wanted it to kind of fit the multi-decade story that this was telling. Anyway, thank you so much for coming by, and I look forward to being back with you all a bit more in the coming days. I hope that this has given you some inspiration for ways that you can do some really creative things and yet still have plenty of room for pictures, and also maybe just some ideas for embellishing masculine albums. I will be back soon with some new things. I have so been missing you, and I hope that you have had a great week and that you will take time to play. See you later. Bye.